Hello, traitors. No, not you, Linda. Turn your head back around. I'm Ryan.
I'm Armani.
And I'm Ivan.
And you're listening to your debrief of week 1 on the Traitors UK. This is episode 38 of It's Just a Game.
38, bro.
Hello and welcome to episode 38 of It's Just a Game, the podcast where we watch reality TV so you don't have to. If you're new here, this is the podcast where we regularly discuss the best drama, the maddest moves, and the most iconic moments of your favorite reality TV shows. This week, we're back to our first true love, the show where it all started for us. We've been there, done that, and got a t-shirt. We're debriefing the Traitors UK and Series 3.
Ryan.
My name is Ryan.
No, hang on. If we've got the t-shirt, why the hell are you not wearing anything on your delicious manly rug that you're showing to us all right now?
Look, I am currently on holidays. I am in Miami. The time is 5:20 p.m. here. It's sunny and I've just come back from the beach. I wasn't going to get changed. So you're getting Miami and chest hair this week. Next week, you'll be getting cold grey weather and mold in the back of the house.
We're already getting the grey weather.
Anyway, my name is Ryan, and I am now declaring a period of mourning for our Welsh Queen, Ellen. As always, I'm joined by Cornwall's Prius, Lisa's biggest fan, Ivan. Hello, Ivan. How are you?
Hello, hi, yeah, I'm great. Lisa's still in the game. Yeah! Lisa! She's not even on my team. She's on your team, Ryan. But yes, I'm very excited. Lisa's here. And you know what? The only reason why it'd be good if she got knocked out is so that she can get back to Cornwall and hang out with me, probably in a church. We're going to have a great time and eat communion wafers till we're full.
And lots of red wine.
I'm not sure if I want to say cute or weird, but we'll go with that.
A mixture.
Also joining us is the traitors who trait all traitors, Wilf. Hello, Wilf.
Yeah. You're right, bro. I don't even know what I'm doing.
Let's move on from that quickly. Now, as always, we're entering a spoiler zone. So if you have seen episodes 1 to 3 of Series 3 on the Traitors UK, stay right here. If you have not seen them, there will be spoilers ahead. And if you still don't care, because this is the podcast where we watch reality TV so you don't have to, Ivan is here to summarize the whole thing for you. I've got a new catchphrase. So instead of saying, Ivan, here's your recurring segment, Ivan, I'm just going to say, Ivan, we're good to go.
Oh, thank you, Eurovision Song Contest. Here is episode 2 in a roundtable vote, so split that even Claudia gets a couple. The most votes go to the sort of man you'd want to introduce to your granny, Nathan, and traitor Linda is spared. The traitors banish Keith because if Freddie can clean windows as well as he can clean his own torso, Keith is not needed here. The challenge is a big explodable traitor, but now the traitors have to drop a bunch of gunpowder to earn their murder. Ooh, sabotage mechanic. The traitors lose their murder opportunity. We see pressure building on un-Welsh Charlotte for saying that she was relaxed, and un-Welsh Ellen for being crap in the challenge and changing her mood at Brecky. It's Ellen who's banished, though. In Traitors Tower, Armani, the woman, not the brand, that wouldn't fit, tells the other traitors to stop being so quiet. Mina is quietly outraged. Fitting. Episode 3, with nobody murdered, the castle turns inward, with the most accusations against Kasim and Armani. The mission is a Viking boat ride! Players have to sacrifice themselves for others to get shields. Everyone but 6 players gets a shield! Jake and Dan fall out over most of the group's selfishness. Tyler wants to go for Armani because she's defending Kasim, a 2-for-1 deal. At the round table, Jake closes in on Linda, Kasim, and Armani. It's astonishing how Kasim is stuck in this trio of accused traitors with 2 actual traitors. In a tearful vote, Armani is banished and reveals her treachery. Maya weeps, and now one of 5 faithful has to be murdered. And as they decide, the rail replacement carriage clops slowly to the castle. And that's where we are now.
There has been so much happening. And you know what? I just want to get started, get this out of the way, the rail replacement coach. Because this got me just now, the excitement of seeing that little coach.
Amazing.
You know, art imitates life. The rail replacement coach is 3 days late. just like in real life. It's beautiful.
So Claudia did say your journey ends here for those three people. And I, of course, was like, well, their train journey ends here, but their like reality TV journey has just begun. And that's exactly what happened. We all called this. What I want to know is, what's their role going to be?
I know.
Okay.
If you're obviously your For You page and everything is just traitor stuff at the moment, right? You might come across the American Traitors and it's a teaser trailer and it's somebody who's masked and the current players get to shake that person's hand.
Oh, there's a swap, yeah.
To swap and bring that person in. But then that person shakes somebody else's hand and they're gone. Something like that. Something along them lines.
Like a chain of elimination. And I think, is it Rob Mariano who is the one who gets to be... Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that is probably going to be something that's happening there.
I wonder whether the three of them will have to fight for a space in there, maybe. Or like,
what, like Survivor?
Yeah.
And Joel Dommett will just turn up.
Wading through the ocean.
They cancelled it, so I've just decided to jump on the train.
Sopping wet, wading out of the lake. And there they go, fighting away! Whatever the twist is with these three, I agree. Only one of them's going to make, or at least only one extra person's going to make it into the game. They'll have all episode to maybe decide, is my guess, because it'd be really unfair if they just get another 10 minutes. But I think at the end of it, one person will be admitted, maybe at the cost of someone else. If we're going to have any more missions where the traitors aren't able to murder, they have to speed up the kills. They can't bring 3 more people in now. There's just not enough episodes in the series. What do you think, Ryan?
The thing is, with all these new twists, and we'll go over these in a second, but the idea that sometimes the traitors don't actually get to murder, that makes me think that, they can't afford to bring too many more people into the fold. Otherwise, the final's going to have 12 people, and that's just going to be a bit of a mess.
I think I've just caught on to it. Maybe they do enter more than one person. And the reason that they've done the whole ending where you don't say if you're a traitor or a faithful is because they might have quite a lot of them just banishing each other, which will be amazing to watch.
Can we talk about that? Once you, anyway, the final day, I think she said the final 5, once you get to that, when people are banished, they no longer reveal their role. So I think this is really interesting because it means that the ending is going to be very paranoid because no matter who you, like, so for example, let's take last season. When they took out Andrew at 5 and he revealed he was a traitor, they went, oh, well, I still think there's one more traitor in the game because they had some information there might be. But if you thought there was one traitor in the game at 5, took him out, didn't learn if they were traitor or not, then even if you got rid of the last traitor, you wouldn't be like, great, let's end the game at 4. You would keep going. So I think what it will actually end up with is paranoia and probably lots more banishments till they get down to 2. I think this favours 2 things. I think this favours the game ending with fewer players, and I think this game favours the traitors. Unfortunately, this twist will lead to more traitor wins in an already traitor-skewed game. Will?
I think it also sort of crosses out that parting gift sort of thing, because imagine there's 2 traitors in the at the fire pit and one can make a little statement or something. It just sort of deletes that happening.
I think the key here is that it does lead to a really good finale where ultimately the game will probably end in 2 people left, and that's just great TV. That just adds tension to these last few minutes of the show. So at least we'll get that.
Yeah. More twists. Should we talk about another twist?
Yeah, there are so many other really good big changes to rules. I mean, obviously, the first one being the big change in that Gary Barlow sodden challenge where, the traitors had to actually earn their murder. There was an opportunity to prevent them from murdering for the faithful, which is great because it brings in sabotage opportunities and just a lot more sort of jeopardy in that challenge. Ivan, what do you think?
This actually is interesting because the day before I did a thread on Twitter about some minor twists I'd like to see, and one was traitors have to do a thing to earn their murder each day. Now, I don't think there's enough time in an episode. If it was a 90-minute episode, this would probably happen already. With a 60-minute episode, there's not enough real estate in the show. But this was great because it was sabotage without sabotaging the prize pot, which makes no sense. Everyone wants that money. So instead it was like, you've just got a side thing you've got to do, right? The money's still going, but you've also got to stop the gunpowder. So I think it was really, really great. It gave the faithful something to do during the task. It didn't, it meant that just like today's episode as well, it meant that the missions are now relevant to the story, which is fantastic. I'm a big fan. What do you guys think?
I really like it. I really like the fact that I think the producers and BBC have listened to what people have said online. I think a lot of people have been quite open about the missions in terms of they find them a bit boring. And saying that, I do feel sorry for the contestants and the players because we've said this before. When we had missions, it was just a way to just get away from the castle and do something fun. And now this has added more mental play. Ivan, what do you think?
we saw in today's episode 3, that because they didn't get that afternoon to build cohesion, they were at each other's throats when they got back from the task. It was a task made to break them up, make them argue with each other, and so they were being horrible and bitter to each other. Now, that's fine. It made good TV. But I will say, one thing that appeals to a lot of people about the Traitors is it's camp and it's cute and everyone loves each other. And like, I don't want to get to a point where it's fight night on Big Brother where people, and I know we had that in our series, like we did have some big stand-up brows, but like the thing that people loved about the show was how warm it was. And I think that despite the fact that nobody watches the missions, I think the missions contribute to that feeling of unity. If we take that away, the show fundamentally changes in spirit. It may be more interesting as a reality show, but it may lose something in spirit. So I don't know, there's a bit of a tension there for me.
And it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. I loved the fact that Mina was rowing a boat and Linda was just shouting at her and she just had enough of it. She was like, I'm not doing this anymore. Fuck that, lad. Now I'm gone, lad. Sound. Like, she was just like, she just jumped off the boat. She's like, I can't have her just shouting
This is
in my
my
ear.
stop.
Yeah, I'm getting it off now. I loved it.
This is where I live now.
But yeah, I enjoyed that part of it, of just people getting stressed with each other. And even Freddie, bless him, when he's like, his anxiety just took over and he was like, everyone thinks it's me. I'm just getting off. And then he got off. And then now everyone thinks he's a traitor.
There was an amazing bit on that boat as well where Mina was looking back at Linda and be like, right, she's saying pull. And I'm pulling when she's saying pull, but everyone else is pushing when she's saying pull. And it's like, yeah, when she says pull, we push. Don't you get it? And Mina's like, I'm absolutely done with this. I am leaving. This is bad. Yeah, that would have driven me mad. And as someone who is also a cox on a boat on that same loch in the Traitors, can I just say, it is so frustrating trying to like express to somebody how oars work because they're not intuitive at all. And I just had to get 2 people to row, okay? And they didn't. We went in circles. They had to get like 16 people rowing a Viking longboat. It was impossible. They did great.
But importantly, who makes these boats? Because every year they just come up with a bunch of new wooden boats. Like, who make these boats? Where do they go in storage? Can I rent them? Can I just like take them up and down the Thames?
I think it's Fergus, because Fergus is not busy during the UK season, so they have him making boats.
Just chained to dock 14 hours a day making boats.
Make more boats! You're not in this one! Make more boats!
Big up Fergus. Now, something a bit darker, a bit more dramatic, but can we take a moment to appreciate some of the amazing people we've actually lost this week? Importantly, I want to talk about Yin. Like, losing Yin was very sad because she was really promising. I could tell, she might not have had the social skills that would have taken her to the final, but she had the rhetoric to, I think, give us some really, really good roundtable moments, and it was quite sad to see her gone.
There's something that I've noticed, right? Well, I haven't just noticed it, but if you show how intelligent you are, it's just such a dangerous game to play. But then also, if you get out today, by what I'm watching today, it's also bad to be a very good faithful. Like Kaz, yeah? He's just a really good, nice guy who really wants to find the traitors. And now they're like, he wants to find the traitors way too much. Like, it's weird. So intellect and that at the same time, like, because Yin was probably a bit of both. And you just get murdered, don't you? Or people just think you're a traitor for some reason.
Well, Ivan, do you think there's an anti-intelligence bias in the Traitors in the early days?
Yeah, I wouldn't call it an idiocracy because actually a lot of people who've won or done well in the show are really intelligent. I don't think it is that. But I think there is not one way to win this game, but there is certainly a way to lose this game. And the way to lose this game is to advertise any advantages that you have. And so unfortunately, Yin tried really hard to hide all of this and didn't hide it well enough. I think I made the same mistake in Series 1, but we didn't have the benefit of having seen what was going to work. I hid the fact that I ran games for a living. I just said I was a children's author. But still, you'd be like, he's a children's author. He writes narratives. He can lie. And that was enough for you, right? So people, and I mentioned games to some people, but not like it was my job. People will find things that they find that they're threatened by. But I want to remind you of Zach last season, right? He came across as intelligent, but crucially, strong and wrong. If there is a meta right now, it is, as a faithful, be strong and wrong. Accuse someone, even if you don't think they're a traitor, and just be loud about it every single day. It's what kept Maddie in the game. I know that she was going for you, Wilf, but nobody trusted her because she was strong and wrong so often. It's what kept Zach in the game. This is currently a really, really good way as a faithful to get on late. It's just don't appear like a threat, but do appear loud. So I think Yin could probably have done that, but she never got to the point where she had someone to accuse. She just was far, far, far too erudite. She just came across as a genius, and it was never going to work.
I was going to say, I think the faithfuls this year are quite good.
Totally. We're seeing a few people who are threats, right? I think that it's pretty clear that Dan knows what he's doing. I think Kyle knows what he's doing. I think Tyler knows what he's doing.
Does he know?
He's been on some correct trains of thought. Like,
He's also on some really bad ones, though.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's been lots and lots of people with really good points, really good things. I mean, lovely Lisa, I'm supporting her all the way, but so far she's been right 0% of the time. But there are people here presenting as threats, and maybe they'll be next for the chop.
Do you know what? Can I just bring up Dan really quickly? You know, when they came back and they were really, really upset about being left on the raft or whatever it was, and they said, and Dan, I love Dan for what he said. He's like, this is a vicious game. Like, not everyone's going to get to the final. Like, I'm going to look after myself. Like,
this was brutal, and I felt bad for Jake because he was on the receiving end of, like, he was clearly obviously very hurt because he realised that he had made a very big strategic mistake potentially. But he was right. Dan was correct. It's a selfish game, and you shouldn't have volunteered yourself off the boat.
It was really funny, you know, when the first lot are standing on the raft and they see the boat stop and then just carry on.
Hey!
Like, what are they doing? And then you've got Claudia with a fucking megaphone randomly on the side of a cliff going, just do your best, or whatever she's saying. It's well funny.
Yeah, this was really good. I think the other really interesting remark there was also something that we sort of see throughout the third episode. Kaz keeps getting accused because for some reason he's a doctor, and this is a common trait of trope that really annoys me. There is no correlation whatsoever between jobs and traitors, and yet they're convinced that Kaz is a traitor because of a doctor who'd be some sort of Harold Chipman, which, to be fair, was a very funny moment to me.
I mean, he lost it with that line. Like, he took the accusation from Kyle and went, "You're calling me a murderer? You saying I'm murdering people?" I was like, "No, mate. Have you checked the rules of this? Kaz, come on. What? No."
I love Kaz, I'll be honest.
Kaz, I love him, but what he should have done, right? He should have done the clever thing and gone, I could not be a traitor because my patients need to trust me.
Yeah, but Will, you don't choose to be a traitor, right? You're told if you are. If he was told he was a traitor, he would have just had to lie. So that's not a justification. That's not why you're not a traitor. Again, it doesn't relate to your job.
Is there a way that he can survive? Like, if he was to defend himself right now, is there a way he can?
I think Kaz is gone, not least because you've got Tyler that's like a dog with a bone with, again, something that really doesn't make sense, saying that, oh, if Armani's a traitor, Armani's been defending Kaz, so Kaz must be a traitor, which does not make any sense. I just don't follow the logic, but I think that argument and the fact he's very wrong but loud about it means that...
Strong and wrong.
One, Tyler is safe from murder for a long time, and two, Kaz is gone.
Yeah. I don't know if they've ever seen this show, The Traitors, but traitors tend to turn on each other. It's kind of the signature thing that happens in this show. Defending someone else does not mean you're on the same team as them.
Well, couldn't he just say she knew I was 100% faithful because she was a traitor? I don't know. I'm trying to think of how to save him.
That's the argument, but I don't think the argument will land because Kaz is also, I think there's an element of rhetoric there where Kaz is just very sort of like, well, most of the time very posed and quiet and trying to convey logical points, and logic over emotion doesn't work in this round table, especially with people like Tyler who are very clearly going to be convinced that they're correct here.
If Tyler's memory's long enough, then if they get rid of Linda in a few days' time, he'll be like, well, Linda was the other one defending Kaz. Like, he can't escape this now. He will be banished in the next few episodes. If he's not, I mean, I'd be very surprised. He'll have had to play some incredible ace up his sleeve. I don't think it's possible. I'm sorry, pal.
Now, let's talk about the other really interesting banishment that came towards the end of episode 3. Armani is gone. That's one first traitor down. I just want to take a moment to dissect some of the key reasons for her downfall. I think a lot of them are pretty obvious. Maybe she was moving a bit too mad, going a bit too hard in that game. But is there anything she could have done different other than maybe keep a lower profile?
Everything.
If there's one thing she could have changed, it's all the things that she did.
Oh, I really loved Armani.
She was, as the resident traitor, I will say, I felt really sorry for her. I think she played it wrong. I think she's obviously watched the Traitors, but she's gone in there with like this plan of standing out and being a strong character, and that will make her look like a really strong faithful, when realistically it was pissing a lot of people off. And she was planting seeds quite early. And then also when she made that comment, man, to Mina. And
when she put them on a performance improvement plan. Showing up to the turret being like, right, guys, the reason I brought you here today...
That's basically her going, by the way, when you get the chance, you can backstab me. That's basically what she did.
So just a little bit of feedback there. So no worries, this is not going to go on a record, but I'm going to have somebody from HR come and take notes now.
Karen from HR is going to come and do the minutes.
Some random girl with a bob shows up being like, right, so I'm just taking notes. Oh, look, Flip, I really like Armani, but I think, her time was inevitably running out quite quickly. Could any of these three traitors actually make it to the final, or do we think the traitors that make it to the end are going to be people that are currently faithfuls?
I think personally, I really want, and what I'm seeing from Mina at the moment is amazing. That can change in one day. That's the problem with this show. That
she's really strong,
but there's still 9 episodes left. So that's a lot to get through. And then with Linda, she's playing that whole, doing that thing where she's not throwing any names out. And then people are like, oh, because what you do, if you go up to someone and go, oh, who do you think it is? They go, oh, I've got no clue. If they're a traitor, right, you think to yourself, okay, they're either a traitor or they're just a really rubbish faithful. We might as well banish them anyway because they're not helping. Do you know what I mean? So it's not good gameplay that she's doing at the moment.
So Linda is Rayan. She's on your team, right? She was your 4th pick, but she's crucially still in the game. So I reckon it's time, since we're talking about the elimination. We've not mentioned Keith, but bless him, he didn't get much of a chance to do anything apart from clean a couple of windows. Let's revisit who and see who is doing the best. I have lost my 3rd pick, Armani, but she was mainly insurance for my 1st pick, Mina. And I've lost my 6th pick, Ellen, who was banished in episode 2. So I'm down to 4 players. Rayan, you've lost your 5th pick, Keith, but you've still got your other 5 picks, including Fozia, who is back in the game. So congratulations on that. And Wilf, you've lost or loft. I can't say the word. You have lost Nathan, who was banished episode 2, your 5th pick, but you've still got the other 5. Undrafted players, all 6 are still in the game. Alex, Alexander, Jack, Livy, Maya, and Jake. So undrafted is currently winning. That's slightly concerning. Don't worry about it. It's going to be fine.
We're good at this.
We're doing great, lads. We're as good at this as the rest of the faithfuls,
You only need one person to win this for you, okay? I know sometimes more than one person wins. That's why we did the other predictions, by the way. Thanks for asking.
So, can I do my recurring segment?
Please.
Oh, you've got a recurring segment now. Look at the promotion there. Armani showed up at the Traitors story and was like, look, I'm going to give you more responsibilities. Now, this doesn't come with a pay rise, but...
but it gives you the opportunity to learn from other things.
And it'll look really good on LinkedIn.
HR Armani coming in.
That's so funny.
HR Money is great.
Oh, I love that.
Right, so mine is called Meme of the Week, and all we have to do is pick one meme that we've seen online of the week each. So I'll go first, and we're going to put it on the screen for people who are listening. We'll just describe it. So my one is Gary Barlow's son if he was a traitor, and it's the picture of the statue.
Yeah, that stupid statue in episode 2 that was so tall.
But that's Gary Barlow, so that's mine.
How do you even order this? You just show up to like a store like, hey, can I just get like this, but in size XXXXXXXXXL?
One massive traitor, please. Can you make sure that when he's exploded, he falls forwards towards the explosion, please?
just gone in there. They've gone, so we're the producers of The Traitors. You've probably seen it. So we've got the Statue of Liberty who's looking for a cloak. The Statue of Liberty cloak, please. It looked just like a big cloak, didn't it? It was well funny. But yeah, that was my meme. Go on. Who's next?
I'm going to go next. I think mine is just this tribute to Keith because he joined season 3 of The Traitors. He went there. He slagged his wife's cooking off on national TV. Spelled some guy's name wrong. Gets murdered in episode 2. Good nights with Prince. That's all he did. And that's enough to cement a legend. If I ever need my windows cleaned, I'm calling the man.
Oh, so funny.
Oh, good. Yeah, there was a picture of Freddie washing his pits with his beautiful torso out, and it's got a quote from him saying, "I'd like to be the first black prime minister," and then a quote from a producer being like, "Okay, babe, can we get a shower shot?" Oh, speaking of which, did you see the hilarious cutaway shot of Charlotte in episode 3 reading a book called How to Speak Welsh?
Honestly, the production value on this. Should we clap for a singular clap for the person who comes up with all these shower shots and just that one producer, whoever you are? We've probably met, but I was crying by that point, so I want to remember who you are. A singular clap for you.
Wait. Do you know on my one, we were trying to set up a chess game and they kept being like, it's fine, this will be fine. And I was like, this isn't a viable chess finish. And they were like, no, it's fine, we're in a hurry. Come on, we got it. And I was like, no, I need to. Okay, now it's an actual chess game. Yeah,
they were in a rush for me. So it was me just getting getting out of the shower, getting into bed, taking off my glasses and turning off the light. Except they clearly hadn't expected me to be banished because they'd given me the tightest pajamas I've ever seen, which were definitely like Alex sized or like someone really petite on the cast, because I could not fit in them. But if they played this, everyone would have had the biggest crotch shot in the history of television.
I remember when, so we've just done the final round table, right? And then obviously we've walked off like before the fire pit, and I'm pacing in the library by myself. And they go, Will, can we come in and just film you pacing in the library and pretend you're really anxious about what's happening? I was like, I am really anxious about it. Did you not just see I got party gifted, bro? And then I was just walking around the library with this cameraman staring at me. I was like, what am I going to do?
Just having a shot of the fake whiskey they kept in the library. Anyway, look, other few names I want to mention, the people that will be missed is Ellen, or Queen Ellen. You know what? I actually, for starters, I really felt for her because her exit, I think, was really quite similar to mine, where you don't really see it coming, and then on the day, you start actually hearing all the names, and you can start feeling the walls of the castle closing in on you, and then you get to a round table, and it just feels like a lot of attack after attack, and you're just like, that table breaks you, and like, this was really the exact. I saw my exit again there, so I really felt for Ellen. But importantly, I also thought she was a good player that could have given her a lot. Obviously, it's early days, so the reasons are never very good. But the reasons she was sent home for are incredibly bad, in my view. There was no good motivation, and I felt really bad for her. But again, it's the same question. Could she have done anything different? I think it's one of these cases where many people around the table were just so dead set on her that no matter how... And she tried to defend herself, and I think she did it reasonably well. But there was nothing she could have said.
There is this problem, which I think actually, weirdly, Armani also struggled with in today's episode, which was when you're faithful, in the end, all you can say is, I don't know what to tell you guys, I'm a faithful. Because in the end, you can't prove it. It's not like Blood on the Clock Tower. You're like, well, I'm the washerwoman because this is the information I received and this is who it lines up with. You don't receive any information. You're just a faithful. You have nothing to say. And so all she could do was talk about her mood change over breakfast. And it's like, yeah, I've had that. I'm trying to constantly cover for my anxiety because I'm on The Traitors. Like, yeah, one of those two emotions may have been put on. That doesn't make her a traitor. It just means she's struggling. And I think we could all see she was struggling.
It's not a mood change. It's just a caffeine kicking in, mate.
Like cold coffee.
I felt quite sorry for her, actually, because it reminded me of Brian a little bit as well. So, you know, when you just can't... When you're around that table and you sit there for like 5 minutes without saying anything, and the pressure just builds up, then all of a sudden people explode and they start talking, and it just gets so... It's so hard to deal with. And like we've seen from last year, Brian just like had a bit of a breakdown, didn't really know what to say or anything. And we've seen that with her today. And exactly what Ivan said. When you were just a faithful and you've got nothing else to say. You're like, I literally can't say anything, but I am faithful. But I've noticed that episode it was herd mentality again, right? It's always quite, it does come into game quite early and then sort of stops. And I think the herd mentality is sort of starting to stop now. Like, I noticed there was loads of random votes in the last episode, which I liked because it keeps the game open a little bit.
That was actually really good. I enjoyed the fact it wasn't overwhelmingly for Armani, and I wasn't sure where this was going to go until there was really still halfway through the votes, and then they cued the really dramatic music in the background, and at that point I was like, yep, she's done. Armani's gone.
I just could tell by the way they started the votes. I just had a feeling. I was like, she's definitely going to go. And then I was surprised her sister didn't vote for her, though.
While we're talking about the round table, the other thing I think is really interesting is let's chat about the third round table there. A lot of people, I think really men in that round table, got really heated in there. I mean, there was this insane moment where Kaz and Joe are having a row, and then Joe's like, I want to elaborate, I want to explain. I'm like, mate, this is the round table. This is what you're here for. You're literally here to explain. The entire sort of like round table was just very chaotic, very hectic, and just, caught me by surprise there.
I think everyone spoke their piece, though, which was really quite nice, because a lot of people normally try and stay quiet. It was nice to see Leon as well, like, actually start talking.
I think we've heard least from maybe Anna, Francesca. They haven't spoken that much out loud. They've said a few things, but not a lot. But yeah, you're right. Leon spoke up today for the first time.
Yeah, he spoke up. And then also the English teacher came out of nowhere this episode and started having quite a lot to say, actually. I'm unsure on him, though. I'm very unsure on him. I don't know if I'm not going to dislike someone who's on TV. It's not right. But I don't know if I really like him or I don't really like him. I'm not sure yet. Like, does that make sense? Because some of the things he was saying, I was a bit like, don't like that.
I don't think we've seen him in his natural environment. It's very hard to make a decision. I would say that, in a way that Kaz's vibes are exquisite. There's not a lot of players who are just giving off exquisite vibes. A lot of people are giving off some. But that's the thing. In the end, a lot of people are just playing to survive. Like as you saw with Dan, he was like, yeah, I was selfish, and that's because this is the game we're playing, and it's a selfish game. Yeah, I think a lot of people are playing pretty bitterly right now, but that's good. That's what we want to see.
I like the fact that Tyler turned into Claudia at the end. That was quite funny.
Why was he giving them a pep talk? What was like? Who made him the Pep Guardiola of the faithful?
He just literally went, yeah, let's celebrate, but don't forget, we're not finished here. There's two more in my mind, and we're not finished.
2 of you will be murdered tonight.
I was like, okay.
Just change the rule.
It was funny though, but at the same time, if you were faithful, you're just like, I'd be like, oh, fuck off, man. Just like, I don't know.
He's clearly gone, we got rid of Armani, so the daddy of the group's gone, so I'm going to be the daddy of the group now, and just starts just like announcing things at random moments.
I think he's going to start giving people feedback.
Going to bring them into the room where Claudia asks them why they want the money, and we're like, right, so Q1, good effort on the faithful finding, but...
You know when you work in a target-based job and you hit your targets and your manager goes, wow, we've done really well today, and then we start again tomorrow.
We go again.
That's what it felt like. We go again, yeah.
Honestly, why are half of them just turning into this is turning into a big HR function?
So funny.
But quite rogue. Right, in which case, normally, as we get towards the end of the episode, I would ask you, where do you think this is going next? But I think on this occasion, I don't actually think anyone can hazard a guess of where this is going next week, because the game is really still quite divided. There's lots of names flying about. Anyone's got any certainties? What happens next?
Yeah, I'm 99.5% sure that Maya gets murdered tonight. No one else makes sense.
And Kaz then goes.
And then Kaz gets banished. I think that's... Yeah. Unless the 3 returning players interrupts the normal flow of the game, in which case it's impossible to predict. Maya has to be murdered because she's obviously a faithful. What's the point of having 100% faithful in the game?
Yeah.
And they can't recruit. If they could recruit, it'd have been great to recruit her, because everyone would always just think she was a faithful. She's unfortunately I would say Deadwood. She's not Deadwood because she can play the game well. I mean that she's like, there's nothing more to gain from her being in the game from a Traitors perspective. They have to get rid of her.
Yeah.
And then Kaz, unfortunately, not long for the game.
Have you noticed that people nowadays, in lots of the seasons that we watch, people recruit for weakness and not strength now? So like back when I was doing it, I wanted to get Alex because Alex was super clever, and I was like, I think she'll be really good as a traitor. But now it's like, we recruit this person because then people are looking at them anyway and they'll think they've got rid of her.
Yeah. So if you're Mina, right? If you're Mina, you would never recruit Maya. What you're saying is so right, actually. You'd never recruit Maya because she'd have a chance of winning. All right. And you don't want her to win because you don't want to share the money with anyone. So if you're Mina, you're like, I'm never going to recruit somebody like that because she'll fly under the radar for far too long, far too easily. And if I accuse her, it's like, hang on a minute, what's going on here? Like, no one's going to accuse her. So you can never get rid of her either. You can't murder her and you can't banish her. So it's like, no, you're absolutely right. You cannot recruit her either. She's gone.
Well, should we come back in a week to find out what's actually happened and debrief it?
No. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yes. No. I know. I've changed my mind. I think yes. No.
Well, look, we'll debrief in a week. I'll be there. Wilf will be there. Whether Ivan or Maddie is there is to be determined. We'll see.
Is Maddie my replacement? Has she been waiting every week in the waiting room?
She's just outside the door back there. But we'll be back to debrief episodes 4 to 6 of the Traitors UK. In the meantime, if you like the podcast, please tell a friend about it, tweet about it, leave a comment, like, a 5-star review, subscribe. We actually see all of your comments. We really appreciate them, except the ones that are a little bit rude. But we're here for it. My name is Rayan. You can follow me by joining the queue to mourn Ellen's departure. The queue is currently 18 hours long at London Bridge.
My name's Will. You can follow me at Wilfred Webster. That's it.
My name's Ivan, and you can join me in watching a how to wash your torso tutorial by Freddy on YouTube.
It's just a 4-second loop. Anyway, from all of us here, it's see you in a week and goodbye.
Bye-bye, driver.
Carriage driver.
Bye-bye, rail replacement bus driver. The rail replacement bus has been delayed by 63 days.